What's up, tennis fans? Sleepy Picks here. We just had the qualifiers completed for the Houston Open, so we got 4 new names added to the draw. We will go over each of those matches and give you a breakdown for each one to complete our round 1 picks. Let's get started. And here's a look at Shelton's half of the draw. Guys, just a quick note here. You see that we did fill out some round of 16 picks already. Those were made in our draw reaction and predictions video. So if you want to take a look at those picks, go ahead and click on that video. Everything's chaptered out, so all you have to do is just go to the description, click on the specific match that you want to hear about. You'll hear our breakdown of it. But we're going to focus on the picks here from the qualifiers who just wrapped up today. Coming out into the first round of this Houston Open. Our first match that we're going to look at is Pinnington Jones against Zhang. And Pinnington Jones coming out of qualifying, he was able to beat Jeff Wolf 6-4, 6-4, and Darwin Blanche 6-4, 7-6. Those are the only 2 matches he's had on clay, but also really good for him to get kind of his feet wet before he gets into the first round. So he's got 2 matches under his belt on this surface that he's going to be playing on. Zhang, on the other hand, no clay court matches this year yet, and no clay court matches last year either. He was injured though, so can't really fault him for that. Pinnington Jones, we remember, he had that nice run in Dallas, beating Dutra da Silva and Kipson in the qualifiers, then coming out and beating Caboli in straight sets, 6-2, 6-2. Very convincing win over Caboli. We remember the Caboli back then really struggling to kind of meet that level that he had before, but he was able to pick it up, moving out to Delray Beach and then Acapulco, where he won. So hopefully we can see Caboli continue that success on the clay. Pinnington Jones then able to play Elliot Spizzirri and beat him 7-6, 4-6, 7-6. And that was a really tough it out type match for Pinnington Jones. And it surprised me a little bit because I thought Spizzirri, remember Spizzirri in the Australian Open, really pushing center to the limit. And I thought Spizzirri here was going to be able to grind a match like that out. But Pinnington Jones just a little bit too much for him. And really nice win. And then Pinnington Jones able to meet his match against Marin Cilic in the quarterfinals, losing 6-1, 6-4. Coming into the Houston Open, he was actually on a 4-match losing streak, starting with that loss to Cilic. He then lost to Bonzi at Indian Wells, when we remember Bonzi was able to get through the qualifying and win a round, I believe, in Indian Wells. He then goes to the Cap Cana Challenger and loses to Martin Landaluce. Now, a couple weeks ago, maybe that doesn't seem like a bad loss, but for me, it's after seeing how Landaluce plays, making the Miami quarterfinals, that's not a bad loss. 6-0, 7-5 for Pinnington Jones against him. So pretty good match right there. And then he lost in the first round of qualifying of Miami to Coleman Wong 5-7, 7-6, 6-4. So another really tough loss. Pinnington Jones is playing good tennis. We have Zhang coming off a first round exit to Manarino 6-3, 6-2, and he also lost to Coleman Wong in the Cap Cana Challenger 6-1, 3-6, 6-3. I have a feeling that this match is going to be pretty even here. Looking at the records on clay, Pinnington Jones has only played 4 matches in the last 4 years, or 5 matches in the last 4 years on the clay. So that's a little bit concerning. We don't have enough of a sample size to really know how he is on the clay surface. My guess is that he might, if he gets pushed with like a stronger clay quarter, he's probably not going to be able to beat a guy like that. Would be interesting, if he comes out here, how he's going to do against Ben Shelton. Zhang, on the other hand, hasn't played clay matches in 2 years. 9-7 in 2024. 15-10 in 2023, and 31-11 in 2022. So he's got a little bit more comfort on the surface, but hasn't had it recently. But if he does get going, we might see him be a little bit more of a threat. For me, I think if I'm Shelton, I probably want to see Pinnington Jones here coming out of this match rather than Zhang, who can always be a little bit tricky at times. I'm going to pick Pinnington Jones. I think he's going to win in straight sets over Zhang. I still think Zhang is kind of a little bit hit or miss for me. I haven't seen him really be able to step up, and I like what Pinnington Jones has been doing. So give me Pinnington Jones in straights. And our next match is Basavereddy taking on Draxl, and Draxl able to come through the qualifying, beating Kruger in 3 sets, 6-3, 1-6, 7-6, and Galerno, a fellow Canadian, 3-6, 6-1, 7-6. Nice showing for Liam Draxl. I kind of have a question about that Draxl fitness. We remember him coming out of qualifying in Miami and able to take a tough first set against Quinton Halys. Halys able to make it out a few rounds in Miami as well and kind of push uh, Zverev to the limit. But Draxl kind of fading after winning that first set against Halys. 6-1, 6-1 he lost. And I think we might see something a little bit similar to here. Now, the one concern that I have here with Basavereddy is he hasn't played a match on clay this season, and his overall record in his entire career is 4-9 on the clay. He's only won 4 matches. Whereas we have Liam Draxl, who's 50-26. Most of those are lower level ITF and challenger events. So not sure how much weight we can put in there, but I do like Draxl 2-0 right now with those 2 qualifying wins, and 10-5 in 2025, 17-12 on the clay in 2024. Looking at their head-to-head, they have played once. It was on the hard courts in Puerto Vallarta, the challenger. Basavereddy able to win 6-3, 7-6 in the finals. That was back in 2024. I do feel like this match is going to be a little bit tricky. I just really doubt the Draxl legs. And honestly, if I'm like Basavereddy's coach, I'm telling him just play long points. And even if you lose the first set, even if you lose it, you've worn him down. If you can keep him out there, obviously if you can win easily, do that. But this is going to be a tough match. Draxl, if he brings that A game, he's really going to push Basavereddy. But if he's able to wear him down, and say they even split sets, or maybe Basavereddy wins a tough first, I think we see Draxl kind of go away in the second set. So give me Basavereddy to advance here. I think he's going to do it in straight sets over Draxl. And here's a look at Shelton's half of the draw again. We have that potential Shelton-Tien rematch lurking. I got my fingers crossed. I really want to see that. We got a few clay quarters that might stand in the way in Taranti, Burachaga. We got Nakashima, who's got that great return. He's going to give Tien a lot of issues there if they're both able to come out. So we'll have to see how this goes. Let's take a look at the next part of the draw. And here's a look at Tiafoe's half of the draw. First match we're going to look at is Etcheverry against Gomez. These guys have not played, but they are both from Argentina. So we always talk about that kind of like big brother scenario. Etcheverry, obviously the better player, the higher ranked player here. Gomez is going to try to punch up against a respected countryman here. Gomez able to get through the qualifiers. Martin 6-4, 6-4 in the first round, and Tabur 0-6, 7-6, 6-2 in the second round. He's only 2-0. These were only his 2 matches on the clay. But again, just like last time with Pinnington Jones, always good to get a couple of matches under your belt here before you come out and play the real tournament. Etcheverry, on the other hand, is 8-1 on the clay. He's been playing extremely solid. We remember he won a very tough match against Tabilo in Rio. After all those rain delays and everything, he was able to get through Komasana first round in 3 sets, Galbas second round in straights, Faria in straights in the quarters. Then he plays Capriva. That was a very long match that carried over to the next day. 4-6, 7-6, 7-6 he wins. And he gets like a 2 or 3 hour break. Comes out again, plays Tabilo. It looks in the second set that Tabilo might be able to win this in straights. Not to be. And he's able to prevail. 3-6, 7-6, 6-4. Just a stunning match there for Etcheverry. Stunning tournament for Etcheverry to win Rio. Now he comes back to a surface that he is much more familiar with. He played Indian Wells, lost to Shapo, 7-6 in the third. Didn't look that bad. And then played Miami, beat Zizou Bergs, beat Hadar. and lost to Tommy Paul 6-1, 6-3. So not a bad showing there for Etcheverry. He's having a very nice season. I think he's going to take care of business here. It's probably going to be like 2-3 or 3-3, something like that against Gomez. I don't really see Gomez providing much resistance here. And, there always is that underlying respect for the countryman that is higher ranked than you. So we'll see how that is. And for the countryman that's higher ranked, there's always that want to kind of put the lower ranked guy in his place and keep him in his place, kind of flexing your muscles a little bit. So I'm going to go with Etcheverry in straight sets, 2 easy straight sets. Next match, we have Alex Bolt taking on Yibing Wu, and really nice showing for Alex Bolt in the qualifiers. He won back-to-back matches on the clay. He hasn't won a clay court match since 2019. So really nice. I mean, 0-4 in 2020, 0-7 in 2021, 0-2 in 2023, 0-1 in 2025. He's 2-0 with a winning record on the clay in 2026. Beats Rybakov in straight sets, in 3 sets, 5-7, 6-2, 6-4, and then beats Andrade 6-2, 4-6, 6-2 to advance out of the qualifiers. He takes on Yibing Wu. Wu, not too familiar with the clay. 2-2 last year, 2-1 in 2024, 3-5 in 2023, 10-2 in 2022. I assume that would be on a few more challengers. I like Wu in this matchup. I think he's able to beat Bolt. Bolt with 2 3-setters as well, so we got to see how those legs are doing. But even though Wu, not with the greatest of records, Bolt's clay court record is much worse. So this is kind of a battle between two guys that don't really play the best on the clay, don't prefer the surface for sure. One big thing to note too is Wu has not played a match on the clay, so there will be that breaking in period. We'll see how long that is for him. But I think I'm gonna go with Wu. I think it's gonna be first set a little bit close, breaking in period on the clay, and then second set he gets comfortable and he's able to let his game go. I'm gonna go with Wu in straight sets. And here's a look at Tiafoe's half of the draw. I do like Etcheverry to get out. I like the idea of that Etcheverry Paul rematch because Tommy Paul obviously able to beat Etcheverry on his best surface, and I'll be interested to see how he does on the clay. I think that's going to be a tough 3-setter, so really looking forward to that. I can't wait to see how Mickelson looks on the clay. I feel like his game can do okay there. He moves extremely well too, so I'll be curious to see if he can translate his success over onto the clay as well. The Kova Tiafoe rematch is going to be awesome. Really looking forward to that one. Kipson's got a chance to maybe continue his success as well. So really a ton of good matchups on the bottom half of this draw, and they only get better as these guys keep winning too. So really looking forward to it. You guys will have to let me know what you think about your picks. Definitely share them in the comments. Thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share your picks in the comments. Share the video. I have another video out for a draw reaction of the Marrakesh Open and a draw reaction of the Tiriac Open. We will also have our first round picks completed once the qualifiers are finished up there for those 2 tournaments. So definitely look out for those 2 videos as well. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.